I play Austin Dickinson, and I like to say he's kind of ground zero for the battle of toxic masculinity in the show. He's kind of given this like patriarchal superiority complex just because of his upbringing. He's supposed to be the leader of the siblings. He's supposed to be like in charge and know what's happening, but he's just a kid, and he's like just as confused as everybody else. And in a lot of ways, Emily has a very outspoken and direct voice that's constantly challenging Austin as the way that he sees it. And so like he's kind of, his goal is to figure out how he fits into the family. The whole thing is kind of like a mashup of Emily Dickinson's poetry and the themes in her poetry, and also the actual facts of her life. So they're kind of like combined in this surreal way where you can tell when it's a fantasy and when it's not, but it's still like they're juxtaposed right next to each other. And also we do this nifty little thing where there's no 1850s dialect in the show. It's a lot of like 21st century colloquialisms. Like my first line is "What up, sis?" Said from the top of a horse, tipping my top hat. So it's a pretty unique show tonally for a period piece. Dickinson is just an incredible mashup of old and new, of surreal and historical fact, and just get ready, hold on to your seats. I learned that the Dickinson family was kind of the cultural center of Amherst, and that they actually like had a hand in creating Amherst to be an important city in New England at the time. And also, the Dickinsons are oddballs, all of them. They were just complete weirdos. And they were real characters in the town, not just Emily, who is the most well-known throughout history, but they were all kind of strange and had their idiosyncrasies. Well, we get a little bit of Andrew Bird later, which I love. I love a good violin. And there are some really great moments of Billie Eilish, especially in episode 1, which you'll see. Austin's kind of on the front line, so he's constantly weighing like where he stands in the family, and so he's open. He's not Mr. Dickinson. He's not like totally like Arm & Hammer, like I'm gonna rule with an iron fist. He's trying to be open, but he also like feels like he's being challenged, and he's wrestling with those feelings. But he also loves his sister, and wants what's best for her. But she's also trying to steal his fiancée, romantically speaking, so it gets a little complicated. Heck yeah. Yeah, no, I took equestrian lessons for the show. I'd never ridden a horse before, but that was actually like one of my favorite parts of getting into the character was to have these horseback riding lessons and explore a new talent. I found that I was actually pretty good at riding a horse. Every moment is my favorite. No, Austin is such a fun character to play because he's always doing some kind of shenanigan, and I'm all about shenanigans. So you might want to keep an eye out for some aerodynamic stuff happening later, some gender bending stuff happening later, and digging up graves stuff happening later. So I'm not going to give you any more hints than that, but there's some oddball situations that we'll get into.